Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled among rolling hills, there lived a young man named Ethan. He was a dreamer, his heart filled with ambition, but his mind was often weighed down by doubt. Every day, as he gazed out at the towering mountain that overshadowed his village, he couldn't help but compare it to his own life. The mountain was vast, steep, and full of unknowns, just like the path to the success he desperately sought. Ethan often tried to pursue his dreams, but it always felt like one step forward and two steps back. Failures, rejection, and the fear of not being good enough haunted him. He would look at his hands and feel that, despite his efforts, nothing was happening. Frustrated and disheartened, Ethan visited Mr. Rowan, the wise old blacksmith in the village. Mr. Rowan had seen many people struggle and thrive over the years, and Ethan hoped he might offer some guidance. Ethan poured his heart out. "I want to be successful. I have dreams, but every step feels like a struggle. Why does the road to success feel so hard? Why does it feel like I'm getting nowhere?" Mr. Rowan, with his strong, calloused hands, smiled kindly and gestured for Ethan to sit by the glowing forge. Without a word, he picked up a cold, unshaped piece of iron and placed it into the blazing coals. Ethan watched as the iron quickly began to turn red, glowing fiercely from the heat. After a few moments, Rowan grabbed the iron with tongs and started hammering it on the anvil. Sparks flew with each strike, and slowly the once formless piece of metal began to take shape. "Do you see this, Ethan?" the blacksmith said, breaking the silence. "This raw iron is like your potential. Strong, yes, but without form. It's only when placed in the fire, only when it faces pressure and heat, that it can be molded into something useful, something strong." Ethan nodded, but his brow furrowed in confusion. "But isn't it painful? Doesn't the iron break under the force of the hammer?" he asked. Mr. Rowan chuckled. "No, it doesn't break. The heat makes it pliable, and the hammer shapes it. Life is no different. The struggles, the failures, the setbacks, they are the fire and the hammer. Without them, you remain unshaped, but with them, you gain strength, resilience, and wisdom. Success isn't about avoiding the fire. It's about enduring it and allowing it to mold you into something stronger." Ethan thought deeply about what Mr. Rowan said, but his heart still felt heavy. "I understand, but every time I face challenges, I feel like I'm being beaten down. How can I know that it will lead to something good?" Mr. Rowan paused and then pointed to the mountains in the distance. "Come with me tomorrow at dawn," he said with a glint in his eye, "and I'll show you." The next morning, as the sun peeked over the horizon, Ethan met Mr. Rowan at the foot of the mountain. Together, they began the climb. The path was rocky and steep, and Ethan quickly found himself struggling. His legs burned, and his breath grew shallow. Several times he slipped, bruising his knees and hands on the jagged rocks. "Why are we climbing this mountain?" Ethan panted, feeling frustrated. "It's so difficult." Mr. Rowan turned to him with a calm smile. "This mountain is no different from your journey to success, Ethan. Just like in life, there will be obstacles, moments when you'll want to quit, but every step forward brings you closer to the top." Hours passed as they climbed, and Ethan found himself exhausted. He wanted to give up. The summit seemed so far away, and his body screamed for rest. But every time he thought about quitting, Mr. Rowan encouraged him to keep going, even if it was one small step at a time. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, they reached the top. Ethan collapsed on the ground, panting, but when he looked up, his breath was taken away, not from exhaustion, but from the stunning view. The village, the hills, the rivers, it all looked so small from the top of the mountain. The sky seemed to stretch out forever. "Look at that, Ethan," Mr. Rowan said, standing beside him. "Isn't the view worth the struggle? The higher you climb, the more beautiful it gets. But had you given up midway, you'd have missed all of this." Ethan's heart swelled as he took in the vast horizon. He realized something important in that moment. Success isn't just about reaching the top, it's about the climb. Every bruise, every fall, every challenge he had faced along the way had made this moment possible. It wasn't just the view that mattered, it was who he had become on the way up. That evening, as they returned to the village, Mr. Rowan offered Ethan one final piece of wisdom. "Ethan, never forget this. The mountain, with all its challenges, was never the enemy. It was your greatest teacher. Success isn't the absence of obstacles, it's learning to overcome them. Every struggle makes you stronger, more resilient, and wiser. Don't wish for an easy life. Wish for the strength to climb your mountains. Ethan left Mr. Rowan's home that night with a newfound sense of determination. He understood now that his struggles weren't there to hold him back. They were there to help him grow. Each challenge he faced was an opportunity to become stronger, just like the piece of iron forged in fire. Years later, Ethan became known in his village as a successful man, not because he never failed, but because he embraced every setback as a stepping stone to success. He realized that true growth and success come from perseverance and from learning to trust the process, even when the path seems difficult. Strength and growth come only through continuous effort and struggle. Napoleon Hill. The greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it. Molière. It's not the mountain we conquer, but ourselves. Sir Edmund Hillary. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Winston Churchill. Difficulties in life are intended to make us better, not bitter. Dan Reeves. Remember, just like the mountain Ethan climbed, the challenges we face in life are not there to defeat us, but to teach us, to strengthen us. Success isn't about reaching the summit without struggle. It's about who you become on the journey. Embrace your struggles, and you will find that they are the very things that lead you to greatness. If this story inspired you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more motivational stories that will uplift and guide you on your journey to success.